the wrong no contact. No contact. This is what anybody who has been a victim of our kind must achieve. Whether that status of victim stems from being a friend to a narcissist, where you are taken for granted, used when the narcissist needs a lift, or someone to moan to, or whether it is the beaten down and trampled intimate partner, primary source, who was wife or boyfriend or partner, who has endured and suffered extensive abuse, no contact is the antidote. Building that robust and effective wall of no contact can be difficult. It is time-consuming, requires rigour and perseverance, and not only are you trying to repel the advances of the narcissist who is trying to breach your no-contact regime, you also have to fight against yourself and your emotional thinking, which is trying to make you breach no contact as well. Indeed, it is often your emotional thinking which proves to be the harder enemy to conquer, and it is not a one-off battle. Your emotional thinking, because of who you are, and the emotional infection your engagement with the narcissist has caused, means that this is an ongoing battle, which requires your repeated vigilance. Through the application of understanding and building your logic defences, the task does become easier, but it is not one which will go away. Like any wall, it must be checked, maintained, and patrolled. Otherwise, holes and breaches occur, and the narcissist will impact on you once again. Time and time again, I see people who think they have put in place no contact, yet they have not. Sometimes it almost beggars belief that the victim thinks they have established no contact. It is obvious they have not. In other instances, you could be forgiven, if forgiveness was something I gave, for thinking you have implemented no contact, but in actual fact, you have not. There are many instances where people think they have instigated no contact, and all they have done is embark on the wrong no contact. Here are just a few of the many ways in which you might be getting no contact wrong, and the risks that come with this. Number 1, looking at social media. Just because the narcissist does not explicitly know you have looked at his or her social media does not mean this is no contact. Indeed, we rely on you doing so and expect you to look at our social media. That is why, in certain instances, you are not blocked from looking at our Facebook account, Twitter feed, Instagram, and so forth. We want you to look at it. Just because you are not interacting directly with us, just because you are not commenting and we are not replying, just because you are not adding likes, this is not no contact. If you are looking at our social media, you are likely to see indirect jibes made about you, relationship bulletins about your replacement, reminders of the golden period, and even direct attacks against you. This will result in a risk you will be upset, hurt, angry. The maintenance of the emotional infection because you are thinking about us. A surge of emotional thinking which may cause you to contact us, to attack us for our barbed comments at you, or to seek answers when you're upset about the reminder of an anniversary or similar. It also stops you from moving forward. Number 2, not blocking our number. You may think that it will be the first thing you will do when you commence no contact. You block our number from your telephone and mobile phone so that we cannot call or text you from the relevant number. Of course, we may get around this by using a different device. Therefore, that is why you are better served by changing your telephone numbers. But if you do not change the numbers, then you ought to block the new number of ours which appears, and keep doing so, like a matador, dodging the on-rushing bull each time to avoid harm. Nevertheless, the number of occasions I see people who claim that they are no contact, but they have not blocked our number, is higher than you might think. These people think that if they, as victim, do not contact us, then that is no contact. No, it is not. Of course, those people who do not block the number are giving in to their emotional thinking because they want the narcissist to contact them. If you do not block our number, this is not no contact. One of the easiest hoovers for us to perform is to text you. It uses no effort. It brings with it a reduced consequence of wounding, say compared to ringing you on the telephone or seeing you in person, and also allows the easy drawing of fuel. If you do not block our number, you are lowering the hoover bar to such a low level that hoovers are more or less inevitable. The emotional thinking of victim tells them things such as, "It's over, there was a final discard, he will never contact me anyway. If she does text me, I won't reply and that will wound her, so actually I'm winning. There might be an emergency, and therefore I cannot block him." Utter rubbish. There is no such thing as a final discard. We will contact you, subject to the Hoover trigger being activated and the Hoover execution criteria being met. If you do not block us, this is going to happen. You will be hoovered. If you allow a text through, you are maintaining the emotional infection, and you will suffer a surge in emotional thinking, which may very well result in you responding, and before you know it, you are not only providing fuel, but you are being drawn back into the formal relationship. Months later, you will ask, how the hell did that happen? Every text which arrives adds more and more to your emotional thinking, until such time that you can no longer resist. Oh, I hear your protestations that you can resist, but I have repeatedly witnessed such resolve melt away. If you are playing Russian roulette and pull the trigger once and do not blow your brains out, you have survived. Pick the gun up again and again and again, and eventually you will kill yourself. This is the similar effect of repeatedly engaging with us by allowing those texts through. You will succumb. So, what if there is an emergency? I know you are kind, decent, and honest, but we are no longer your concern in that respect. You need to remind yourself that you have no obligation towards us. Of course, our perspective will make us tell you differently, and therefore that false suicide power play Hoover is not something you have to deal with. If you co-parent, establish a mechanism whereby the narcissist emails routine communication to you. You tell the narcissist in advance that you will check the emails once a week at a set time and never deviate from this. This way, you cater for communication regarding the children, but only expose yourself once a week to potential hoovers. When the narcissist realizes that this is being done and adhered to, see how the hoover attempts diminish. If you need a mechanism for emergency communication, tell the narcissist to contact a third party, who will then contact you. Use this gatekeeper. 3. Keeping our telephone number. You may say that you will not use it, and therefore think that this is no contact. But once again, this is not no contact. With our number sat in your phone, even if you have changed the description to arsehole number 1, shit for brains, or narcopath, you are creating problems. You see, you will notice the name and number, and you are then reminding yourself of us, and thus this is a form of ever-presence. You are leaving open a gateway. There will be an occasion where your emotional thinking surges and causes you to try to contact us. If our number is there, you will use it and message us or ring us. If there is no number, you cannot call us. Do not come up with the nonsense of, I have memorized the number, so I will remember it anyway, so what difference does it make if I keep the number in my phone? bollocks. Your memory is fallible, and over time, if you have not used our number, you will eventually forget it altogether, or at least get some numbers mixed up. If it is still in your directory, you will ring it. Delete that number. Do it, and do it immediately. Number 4. Talking to friends and family about us. You may think that because you are not engaging with us directly, then this must mean no contact is in place. It is not in place if you continue to talk about us to your friends and your family. This is causing you to engage with us, albeit indirectly. All this does is result in you continuing to think about us with a consequential impact on your emotions. The continued feeding of the emotional infection, which you should be purging, not feeding. Allowing your emotional thinking to surge with the risk that this may control you once again, and you end up contacting us, or succumbing to a direct hoover, with all that follows from that. It is of course inevitable that you will discuss the situation with your family and friends, especially when you do not understand what you are dealing with. However, once you realize you are dealing with a narcissist, then there does not need to be any more discussion. If you are not sure whether the person is, do not discuss it with your family and friends. They invariably have no idea whether the person is or not. They have no expertise. Indeed, they may well be revelling in joining in the narc-hating sessions, which are actually not helping you at all. Alternatively, they may well be sick of hearing you going on about him or her and want you to shut up. But they tolerate it out of a sense of loyalty. If you're unsure, ask me, and I will give it to you straight, one way or the other. Once you know, you go. No more debating it with your best friend, no more mulling it over with your football mates after the game in the pub, no more ifs and buts, discussions with your parents. This person is a narcissist, and you are not to dedicate any time to discussing this person. If you have to discuss an arrangement concerning the narcissist because, for example, they are collecting the children from your parents, then that is allowable, but keep it to just that. You do not need to tell people what the narcissist did or said. All you are doing is repeating, this person is a narcissist. You already know this. They already know this. So why keep going on about it? You do it because your emotional thinking wants you to do so. It wants you poring over the latest misbehaviour because it craves the horrified gasps from your friends or looks of disapproval from your mother. You do not need these responses. Do not talk about us. Explain to your friends you do not want the narcissist spoken about to you. If they try to do so, politely explain again that this person means nothing to you anymore, and therefore there is no need to talk about them. Number 5. Watching what we are doing. You may make the intelligence agencies proud of your covert observation of us as you watch where we go, who we are with, and what we are doing. You do not need to do this. Again, once you know what we are, get out and stay out. Yes, I understand it is so tempting to know what we are up to. Are we seeing someone else? What does he or she look like? Why are we going to these places? But all you are doing is succumbing to your emotional thinking, which is conning you into maintaining a link with us. Your emotional thinking will tell you that it is permissible to engage in this behaviour because you are not contacting us directly. You are merely observing. These are examples of your emotional thinking conning you into thinking this stalking and observation is a good idea. For instance, you are gathering evidence to tell other people what we are doing to confirm what you have told them previously. You do not need to do this. You know what we are. That is all you need. You do not have to persuade other people. Your emotional thinking tells you that you are gathering evidence for a court case. You do not have to do it. Hire somebody to do this, or, if you cannot afford to do that, have a friend or family member do it. Also, question, do you really need this evidence? Your emotional thinking says you want to know who the narcissist is seeing, so you can warn this person about us. This, of course, is part of your decent nature, but unnecessary. You owe the new person no such obligation to warn them, and, in any event, it is unlikely you will be believed because of the smearing we will have committed against you. Your emotional thinking will say, you just need to know for your own peace of mind. This is utter nonsense. You do not need to know at all. Recognize these sleights of mind by your emotional thinking and act on them. If you keep watching us, all you are doing is creating harmful emotions that impact on you, keeping the emotion infection alive and growing, rising your emotional thinking, causing it to surge so you contact us directly, being spotted by us and suffering a Hoover, benign or malign, being spotted by us and being on the end of a restraining order or similar for an act of harassment, etc. These are just 5 examples of the wrong no contact. There are many more. Be alert for them, recognize them, and understand why you are not implementing no contact. Stop letting your emotional thinking con you. Once you know, you go. Get out. Stay out.